Hey guys, in this video we are going to talk about scissors. So let's get started. Yay! Guys, I thought I would do a quick rundown of the scissors that I use frequently here in the studio, breaking them down by size, handle type, blade type, and price. And give you a little bit of information so you can differentiate between expensive scissors and inexpensive scissors and which ones are right for your next project. So let's look at what we've got. So basically I went around the studio and I grabbed a bunch of scissors that I have here currently in the studio. So this is a mix of brands, but it's not covering all the brands of scissors out there. I am a bit of a scissor junkie, you can tell by all the scissors we have here. And so first let's talk about the different sizes of scissors. So I've got them broken down here into groups. This being the larger ones that we use in the studio. These are between 9 and 11 inches. All of these are 9-inch blades. I don't have any of the 11-inch. You may see those. Those are Taylor shears, but they would fall into this category. The next size we have here are the medium size. These are usually between 4.5 and 6-inch blades. And then we have the little snip blades here. These are usually 2 to 3 inches blade length. And then we do have a pair of pinking shears up here that I'm going to be talking about. So you want to pick the size scissor that's perfect for your job. If you are going to be cutting out large pieces of fabric or paper, you're going to want a larger scissor. But you want to pick the scissor size based on the shape size you're cutting out. You have a lot more metal here to control when you're cutting. So if you're cutting little 1/2-inch circles, you have to maneuver these big scissors, plus they're a little bit heavier, so over time you will get hand fatigue using the bigger scissors for the smaller job. So if you're cutting out big hearts, this is your job. If you're cutting out squares of fabric or squares of paper, this is the pair you want. But if you're cutting out the smaller pieces I'm talking about, you're going to want to use a scissor that's this size, that has a shorter blade. You have less real estate to deal with, and it's easier to control. So you want to pick that. Now if you're dealing with really tiny pieces, then you're going to go to a smaller blade, even like this or like this. These are traditionally used for cutting threads. Keep them by your machine, keep them in your embroidery bags. They're used for cutting yarns. These little guys are really to cut very small things. If you try to cut through chipboard with these scissors, the scissors will lose, the chipboard will win. So you do want to think about how big the pieces you're cutting, how thick the pieces you're cutting, and then pick the scissors that are going to fit the durability and strength of that project. I hope that makes sense. So that's a little bit about sizes. There are other size scissors. I am just covering these 3 in this video. All right, let's talk about different handles. Handles are personal preference. This is usually the make or break selling point for most people, and a lot of these scissors are sold in a box or in a blister pack and you can't pick them up. Given the chance, always try out your scissor handles before you purchase them, especially if they're expensive scissors. So what you're looking for in scissor handles, now here is very small finger holes, which means I can only get 1 finger in each. And these are very delicate. They're not really meant for long haul cutting. This is to cut a thread or cut something small. Then you go to the bigger finger holes. Again, I can only put 1 finger in each hole. And these are, again, these are the small guys, but these are padded. So all of this in here is a rubberized padding, and this one actually is a texture and rubber padding, which is very nice so they don't slip when you're gripping them. And these ones are both metal. There is no padding inside. You are finger against metal. These here are rubberized. The whole thing is rubber. And you can see I can get 4 fingers in the one hole and 1 in the other, which the more fingers you have in the hole, the more control you have when you cut. So these are very nice. Now these are also, these are the gingers. Again, you can see from the finger hole, I can only get 3 in one and my little pinky hangs out. So you want to try the handles. see what size holes you like. These here are also all rubberized, and I can get, these are the tiny scissors, but I still can get 3 fingers in one and 1 finger in the other, where these are the same family is a 2-in-1, less control. So that being said, pick finger holes that are most comfortable for you. And if you're left-handed versus right-handed, you're going to want to look for that as well. A lot of these scissors say they're, you know, lefties and righties, but we all know that that's not necessarily the case. When you buy your scissors, try them out. But when you're looking for scissors you're going to be using a lot, and for a large job, you're going to want the larger finger holes. You're definitely going to want some sort of padding on the scissor. And I recommend a rubberized or textured grip so that it doesn't slip in your hand while you're cutting. So next up, let's talk about the different blade types. There are 3 different blade types. We have the smooth, I like to call them knife edge blade. I'm not sure if that's correct, but these are smooth. There is no texture to the blade. They're very smooth. When you go to, let me grab here a piece of paper. If you're cutting fabric or paper and you like to put the blade in and slide across, you're going to want a smooth blade. That is the best type of blade to cut and slide. The other type of blade is a serrated blade, and I don't think you can see these. There is a little serrated texture on that blade, kind of like a steak knife. And when you go to slide, you can see it doesn't want to do it. The serrated blade is meant to grip whatever you're cutting and give you more control when you're cutting. And then the third blade type is the pinking shear or decorative blade scissors. There's all kinds of different shapes, but pinking shear scissors are very old. They've been in the tailoring and fabric industry forever, because you would cut the edge of your fabric with these and it would keep the edges from fraying. So they would do pinking shear in a seam or pinking shear when you're cutting out fabric and you're trying to deal with it, and it's a very light or loose woven fabric that frays on you. You would cut with pinking shears. So what type of scissors do you need for fabric versus paper? And then why is there a serrated versus a knife blade? For fabric, you could use either blade. A serrated blade gives you more control. It grips the fabric. It works really well with thicker fabrics, flannels, cottons, wools. So a serrated blade will hold the fabric in place while you cut. It won't slide around on you. Where a knife edge blade is what you'd want to use when you cut lighter fabrics like a lawn cotton or silk or a taffeta. You do not want to use a serrated blade on those fabrics because of the textured blade. It could catch the delicate weave of the fabric and actually pull it. So for sewing, you could use both blades, one for light fabrics and one for heavier fabrics. For crafting, I tend to like the smooth edge blades. I don't see a real good use for the serrated blades in paper craft or cardstock or foam. Sometimes you do want that blade to kind of slide through your material, and therefore you would stay with a smooth edge blade over a serrated blade. That being said, there is absolutely no reason you couldn't use a serrated blade scissor in those crafts. That is my personal preference. So now that we've talked about size, handle type, and blade type, let's talk about the uses, where I use these scissors, and also let's talk a little bit about the quilting police and fabric scissors. You know, if you're a quilter, that there is a penalty for using your fabric scissors on paper. The reason they say that in the quilting world is the more paper you cut with your scissors, the faster your blade will dull. And you can still continue to cut paper with a dull scissor blade, where it is much, much harder to cut fabric with a dull blade. So a lot of quilters will have one pair of scissors in the studio that say fabric only, or, you know, if you come in and you cut a piece of paper, they have a heart attack because you've done that. That is the reason. Now, I am not one that follows that rule strictly, because I am very, very good about getting my scissors sharpened. We have a knife store here in the Phoenix area that does chef's knives, and I'm able to bring in my scissors and have them sharpened there for minimal cost, and they do a great job. Because scissors and seam rippers and needles, all that stuff, anything metal dulls with use. So whether you cut paper with it or not, those scissors will dull. It is just a matter of how fast are they going to get dull. And because I'm pretty good about going once a year with all my scissors and getting them sharpened, I am not that, I don't police it as much. If I have a pair of fabric scissors here and I need to cut a piece of paper, I will cut the paper. You can let me know in the comments below how much you don't like that, but that's how I handle it. Okay, with all that being said, you can choose whether to mix paper and fabric with the same pair of scissors. When you're cutting paper crafts, you do not need to break the bank buying scissors. Paper is much easier to cut. It's rigid. It doesn't have a flow and a bend to it. So you can get away with the lesser expensive scissors if you're dealing with paper craft. What you want to look for, whether you're cutting paper or fabric, is one, what we've already talked about, the finger holes. Two, what is the weight of the scissor? Do you like a weighted scissor in your hand? Is it easier and more comfortable to cut, or do you want something very, very lightweight that doesn't weigh anything, you can't even tell you have it in your hand? It is the same thing with irons or rotary cutters. We are finding that some people really do like a weighted piece when cutting. Not really sure the pluses or minuses to it, but I happen to be one that does like a heavier pair of scissors. You want to think about the quality of the metal the scissors being made out of. If you buy cheap scissors, you are less likely going to be able to sharpen them. They are going to be a one and done that you're going to toss when they're dull, because the scissor sharpening people aren't going to be able to sharpen them because the metal, there's not enough metal for them to sharpen them. So do think about that. How eco-friendly do you want to be? Do you want to have one pair of scissors that you sharpen over your whole life, or are you going to do disposable scissors that you can throw away? All right, so now let's talk about prices, because they start from a couple dollars all the way up to like hundreds of dollars depending on the scissors you buy. And again, you need to look at your budget, you need to look at your reusability, and you need to look at how the scissors feel in your hand, and are they worth the price that people are asking for. So let's start with our price. And yes, I wrote all this out because I will never remember it. All right, so we're gonna go by categories. So here are these little scissors, the Snip scissors. Again, these are what we would use for threads. And I have 3 different price points here. These are called, these are from a company called Knitter's Pride. I actually bought them in a knitting store. These are super cute because they collapse and fold up into the handles, and they came with this super cute little pouch that you can slide them in. You can slide them in folded, or you can slide them in open, and they just zip up, and you can throw that like in your knitting or crocheting bag or whatever, where you're going to use them. Now, these are $7, and they came with a little bag. They are really only good for cutting threads, okay? You're not going to be cutting fabric with these puppies. These are really just a thread cutting scissor. But if you need to have, I have like 6 or 7 crafts going, I have a pair of scissors in with each bag. These are a nice price point that I could have a pair of scissors in the bag with the project. Can't tell you how many times I undo a project and find my scissors from like 4 years ago. So it's not the best practice, but you can do that. All right, so these guys, let's not throw those away. Those are $7. These are the Singer Snip scissors with the grippy fingers. I know you can get these at like Walmart. I know you can buy them online at Amazon. These retail at $11. And again, these are the same idea. They're going to be used for threads. And then we have these Ginger scissors. Now, Ginger has metal, plain metal handle, and then they have a designer series where they come out once a year with a different design on the handles. So for these guys, these happen to be the designer series. These retail at $46 with the designer print, or $40 without. So you're going $7, $11, and $46. You are paying for the nice metal on the gingers. I will tell you, they're very nice scissors, but you are also paying for the designer print on this. I can tell you, as I was researching for this video, because I do have several pairs of the designers that I've bought over the years, these also become like high fashion. Like I can sell these for $200 or $300 because the pattern has been retired. So if you're one of those people who want to play that game of buying something and reselling it years later, this is an investment kind of scissor. Cutting threads, these are going to dull very quickly. These are nice, you know, utilitarian scissors. They all cut about the same. But these will last longer, and I can get these sharpened. So that is the plus on those. Next size is the 4 to 6 inch category, which is right over here. So we've got a Singer pair. These are $11 retail. And I also do not have out here any Fisker scissors because I don't have any of them, but you probably know them from their orange handle. Very, very popular. You can find them everywhere. I don't have them here, but I did get the pricing for those. For the Fisker scissors with padded handle, so it's not just the hard plastic, this size, they are $18 retail. So you've got $11, you've got $18 for Fisker. I have these Olfa industrial scissors that somebody gave me. I use these a lot. They fall into that category. They are great for thicker materials. These were $23 retail. Then we have the Perfect Scissors from Karen K. Buckley. I happen to really love these scissors. I have them in lots of different sizes, but this size here retails at $22. There is a 6 inch that is $29. And then we have the Ginger scissors that would fall into that category. We talked about those are right there. They go up there as well. So, and these again were $40 for silver or $46 for design. So again, you're going from $11 to $46 on scissors that you're for smaller projects. And again, these are probably the size I like best for paper craft because you're usually cutting smaller pieces, but they're also the size I use for cutting my smaller applique or cutting wool pieces. These are the scissors I go to. Now, over to the big guys. Okay, we've got 4 samples here, plus I got the Fisker pricing as well. And for the Singer ones, which I do think are very cute, they say fabric only right on them, kind of playing into the whole just use them for fabric. These guys retail at $11. Then we have the Fiskers, which we don't have shown here. The hard plastic not padded handles are $19. Then we have the Perfect Scissors from Karen K. Buckley, which I don't have the scissors here, but the size that would be over here would be $32. Then we have the Guggenheim scissors, and these guys I'm going to talk a little bit about, but these guys are a company they're making them here in the US. Their main competitor is Ginger, and I found these online. Let's see if I got the name right. There we go. So you can see it, Guggenheim. They only have this one size available right now, and if you buy them, they are normally $44.98. But this weekend, and I'm not sure how long it lasts, they have them at 50% off, so they're only $22.49. But the reason I ended up buying these is because they have a Ginger guarantee. So basically, they know they're new on the market. They know people don't know their name. So you can buy their scissors, and if you do not like their scissors, you can contact them. They will let you keep these, and they will send you a free pair of Ginger scissors to replace them. So I think that's really putting their money where their mouth is, because they know that when you get these in your studio and you use them, they're pretty sure you're going to like them. So with that kind of a guarantee, I was like, oh, I'm not really out anything. I'm going to try this. So I bought these a couple years ago, and I love them so much that I have, I think, 4 pairs of these because I have them in different parts around my studio. And they are just a really nice pair of scissors. But these, that was the price, and these are normally $44.98, but right now they're on half sale for $22.49. I do believe they're coming out with some smaller ones, but I'm not 100% sure. And then let's get to the gingers. These guys here, we have the silver metal handle, and these are $53.79 retail. And the designer ones are $75 retail. Now I can tell you these are very, very old. I bought these many, many years ago. They were not $75, but they are now. So you're going from $11 to $75 on these scissors. Now I know all of these can be sharpened. These are very light. These are a little bit heavier. And these are nice, heavy, weighted scissors. So if that is a priority to you, which I am discovering is for me, these are my choice scissors because I like the weight of them. And they don't break the bank as much as these guys do. And then the last category are the pinking shears. These are the Singer pinking shears. You can buy these all kinds of places. They're much more readily available. These retail at $20 versus the Ginger pinking shears, which I do not own. Those retail at $65. So you can see where scissors go from a couple bucks to a minor fortune. So you have to decide which one, and I'm hoping that all this information I'm giving you here today will help you pick out the best pair of scissors for you. So all that being said, let me go through and tell you my favorite ones. Of these guys, I do tend to use these guys the most. I don't know why, I just like the way they cut. These were the Ginger scissors. These are the designer handle, but the plain handles retail at $40. I have several pairs of these around the studio, and this is my go-to for my little scissors. Though these type of scissors are the best for throwing in your craft bag and you know, when you're going to go on a trip and stuff. I don't take my most expensive scissors on a trip. I have traveled and flown with my scissors for many, many years, and I have never lost a pair of scissors, knock on wood, at the airport. But that being said, I don't want to go through with these scissors and lose them, so I do tend to travel with my lesser expensive scissors. And they came with a really cute little fabric pouch. Okay, for this category, I have to say these are my favorite. I picked these up in a quilt shop a few months ago, probably 6 months ago, and I loved them so much, went back and bought several other styles. The grip, the big fingers, the grip, the serrated edge on these are really nice. So I do have a serrated edge for when I'm cutting small pieces and I need it to control it. But it is definitely just the combination of the weight, the grip, and the blades, and they're very, very sharp. So the one thing I'm not sure about is, can you sharpen a serrated edge? That would be a good question, because I'm not sure you can. But that fits that category. And then in this category, like I've already said, the Guggenheim scissors so far have become my absolute favorite for cutting fabrics and big chunky things in the studio. Does come with a caveat, they are heavy. So if I had to hand cut 100 flowers, not that I would ever design a quilt like that, over time my hand may get fatigued from the weight and I may end up going with one of these. But I have to tell you, these seem sharper. They seem to cut nicer. These also have the knife edge, so they slide through the fabric. The grip on them is wonderful. The rubber is nice and the weight is nice. So these are my favorites. So let's just do this here. These are the 3 winners for me. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this overview on scissors. If you have, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell. If you give me a thumbs up, it tells YouTube to show this video to other people, so put the thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments about your own scissors, please leave them below. Maybe I'll do another video with some other scissor styles. But I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.